we're using the mental body. When we're using our emotions, we're using the astral body. The magnetic vortex in the physical body is related to the endocrine glands, or what the Hindus and the Eastern people refer to as chakras. This energy centers, and a lot of people play with kundalinis and stuff like that, and I always wonder why always play in the lower worlds again. Start at the crown and become that which is. Don't separate yourself like you and it and the journey, you know. But she's got to grab a hold of herself. The best way to do it is head for the health side of the fence and keep trying to stabilize herself away into herself. This person needs to spend the time alone by themselves without any TV or radio or anything like cell phones, computers, anything like that. They need to do the Club Med thing, but by themselves, where they're the only ones there. And spend some time in that where they connect with themselves again, because you can't lose yourself. You know, that's what you have to remember. The illusion is that you do, you know, and so it's just refocusing your attention, and even beyond that, realizing that you are your attention. And so it's an intense look within, but without discriminatory eyes, so to speak. In other words, it's hanging out in the now, if you want to cut through the chase. We make journeys out of this, both in psychiatry and psychology and spirituality even. All the way from Nietzsche to Watts to Leary even. You know, we make a deal of altering the consciousness or shifting ourselves from one area to another. You can understand that living in a very, this world is like a prison to consciousness, big time prison. But for God to accept its ability to survive in a prison, it has to do just like prisoners do. They have to accept the fact that this is the game. And of course, the more you accept the reality of the game, the more the game is reality and the less you are. And so it's really reconnecting to the game player, and she'll be okay. She can't lose herself, but she can perceive to lose herself for quite some time. But getting her or his body healthy would be the key. What's my opinion about dehydrators? This is Anna Marie, 2979. Hi, sweetheart. Everybody around here uses them. Me, I'm a simple guy. If it was me by myself, I wouldn't have a dehydrator. I mean, I'd pick, pill, and eat. That's my philosophy, basically, or chop and eat, however you want to do it. My kitchen would be quite simplistic, in terms of a bowl, a spoon, a fork, a knife, a cutting utensil, and that's about it. I'd probably have an orange juicer and a juice extractor, but I wouldn't have anything extensive, to be honest with you, in a dehydrator, but I've had some good dehydrated foods. But again, I think there is some alteration, but, it's a fine line. If you get into some of the stuff, though, you can start getting out of the realm of being good for you. Too many nuts and stuff like this, and that's going out there with some of these people pushing high nuts. But if you said that it's a step above meat eating, I'd agree with you. Definitely better to eat nuts than dead animals, no question about it. But I want to kind of keep this more to detoxification, because a lot of you already know what to push. Dan the Man, all these people are out there are pushing this. And that reminds me of the controversy about Dan and me and all this kind of stuff like that. It's like, someone used the word famous. And that's a word I don't relate to at all. I think that I remember Dr. Jensen and I were walking back from getting a bunch of awards in Portugal, and he looked at his wife and he said, just another one of these things," or something like that. And I looked at Brenda and I said, "If I ever get that way, you take a 2x4 and you hit me upside my head," because it wasn't respectful, and he lost lost that, and that's not kosher. There's no such thing. I've been doing this for 40 years. I've had a lot of students in my life, and Dan's been one of them. But I consider Dan a personal friend. I consider all you guys I'm getting to know here my personal friends. Dimitri, all of you guys out there, you all are my personal friends, and we're a team here. And so all the team players just keep working for the goal of changing the consciousness on this planet, because after all, that's all that's important. Whether one is more recognized than another or whatever, who cares? Each has an individual job to do, and I think Dan did a good job with the raw foods and pushing that. I have to push this side of it to help you guys become healers. How you work with that's up to you. But this side is vital that one learn how to use the raw foods with the herbs, and how to know when to hold them and when to fold them. How to learn the art of detoxification, I think, is very important. And that's my main focus here. Can't do it all, so I need every one of you to play the role of whatever you want to play with this, and work that out. This is from German. Excuse me, like Celt. So if green is healing and gemstones enhance potency, then would emeralds be the best for using in the herbs? If you are looking for a way to increase the power of kidney formulas for quick filtration, then why not use green bottles and gemstones in them? Well, that's an excellent question. I did want green bottles, as I told you. The problem, and I think we'll rectify it in the future, we'll be the only company that does, but is to procure them at a decent rate. Everybody already is complaining, the price of herbs. Well, let me tell you, if we put the price of what other companies do in terms of profit margins and stuff on quality and the 1 to 4 potencies that we pay for, then we'd be up around $30 easy. I told the company people that, and Jennifer that works for me years ago, and we've probably been the only company that took tooth pulling to raise our prices through the years, because we just felt that it's just trying to keep it down. So our profits have always been on the low side for a company. Somebody made the comment months ago that we own the company, we can play the prices. And this person has no reality in what's involved in this. Just a ton of work. It's a whole nother huge operation to make these formulas for you and to put that out to you, and with the FDA and all the guidelines and stuff. So it's a whole nother level of activity and work involved in that. So it's tough, and so it's just people have to be aware of all that hard work. I would love to have green bottles. I've had this desire for years. When we start getting into gemstones and breaking them down, we're really in a very inorganic state, and that was my concern. Because when we use the word bioavailable, in other words, the ability of the body to utilize or to absorb and utilize, the more inorganic something becomes, or the more inert, if you will, even though these gemstones radiated a pretty good consciousness, the yet less bioavailable. With that said, though, as with the glandulars, there's a magnetic resonance there that is perceived by the human body, and that has a specific action in the human body, no question. So yes, they used to use gemstone years ago. The lady I was going to use to do gemstones kind of took another way out of the planet. She's still on it, but physically only. So I don't know where I stand with that. I would love to do that, but how much it would raise the prices of the herbs. The bottles that you have to buy in by the hundreds of thousands. So perhaps we will turn that corner for the future. Would love that, of course. But absolutely, anything you put in a green bottle in the sunlight, you're going to energize that puppy right on up. But orange is quite a healing color as well. Very powerful. It's symmetric. It's geometry. It's solar plexus. It's causal. Kashik. This is from Mun, Tyngo, fast, and it did not help. Which herbal formula would you suggest me taking to get the acne to go away faster? Some of you guys are dealing with some extreme acne problems. There's no question. I see this question brought up a lot. And so real important is hang in there. Do not get frustrated. You have to go swim in an ocean or find some salt water to help you, okay? Holding hot and cold compresses to the face or wherever you have would be helpful. Bathing in some salt water would be helpful. But again, this is how hard it is to move lymph, to get the adrenals up, the kidneys up, especially your younger guys and gals who are in genetic decline there considerably. Don't get frustrated. This is your doorway out. You'll see it more and more and more, so do not get frustrated. A lot of you already have eliminated your acne problems, but some of you have very chronic acne problems. Doesn't change the causative factors of it. It changes the amount of time you want to work on it. And so you'll find when your clients ask you how long it's going to take, which they typically will, which I don't blame them, you just have to give them generalities because you don't know. And as soon as I give someone a generality, it's like the lady with MS. I told her she could be walking in 6 months if she really kept it all fruit and berries. Well, it took her 7 months, and she kind of gave a laugh with that. But I've had people get mad because in 6 months they weren't walking or weren't doing this. And I said, well, I said, it could. I don't know. So I never know. A dear friend, you remember I said it's an osteopath. It's Lou Gehrig's, and I can't seem to get him at all. And I can tell you a lot of that has to be karmatic, because if you pull out all the stops, the body has to respond, and particularly even in neurological cases. And when you don't see a response, there could be a karmatic history to that. So as the person with the problem, in a genetic stance, you have to get rid of that problem. You have to let your karmatic things go. Well, it's hard to know what that is, because there's kind of a curtain pulled over your mind, because some of your past has been traumatic considerably, and your pictures are in the astral and causal world. So that's about living in the moment and allowing whatever comes through, comes through. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like laughing, laugh. I had a quad once. At 1 minute she would cry, and the next minute she would laugh, and the next minute she'd cuss me out. It's just that ripping apart of that astral and getting that away from you, and getting these experiences to burn through, and you look at them with love and realize that they didn't hurt you. You let them hurt you. You stored them in your emotional bodies or whatever, but you only are hurt as much as you allow yourself. You got to get the strength of yourself going here, and not let the worldly, in terms of creation, affect you in any way. That's the job of the negative forces, to unbalance you, and they will do it. So you've got to be always watchful at the gate of the mind and of thought, because now that you're growing spiritually, now the ripping can occur. And don't get upset. It can rip you pretty good, because if you want to experience the infinite, you got to totally let go of the finite. And that includes yourself as a finite being. You've got to let it all go. It doesn't matter anymore. And it can be a state of nothingness for a while for you. But you've got to take that nothingness and do something with it. You've got to understand the self. And it's hard to explain how you do that.